Hello everybody, Ace here, giving it to you straight with day 55 of the video log challenge, and today I wanted to talk to you all about how there's nothing left to figure out, and that it truly is just applying everything we learned over this year, moving forward to help create a better earth for ourselves and everyone else. Now, last night, generally speaking, last week, or this whole week, whatever you want to call it, has been very, very challenging. Very, very challenging for me. Went into my human and worked through a lot of the stuff that was residually in there. That's why my theory is that there really isn't darkness or dark energies on the planet anymore. I really believe it's just the residual trauma left over in the collective human psyche that's causing us all this ire and all this fear and all this stuff that's being brought to the surface, bubbled up to the surface, and then purged. So in a way, we're in a distillation process within the human psyche, within the human pain bodies, and we're really just moving forward to let that all go. Now, what my guides were pretty much telling me yesterday, almost in a mantra, as I was doing more rehab and I was spending some time with myself, they basically came to me and said, be, do, trust, and believe. And to me, that's almost like the final equation, let's say general equation, right? It's like the final general equation they really want me to focus on, at least moving into 2021 for this year, is just be. And be okay with being, and being whoever and wherever you are right now. You know, that I kept thinking about be, just the term be. And there's so many, it's so deep. There's so much depth to that statement, is just be. And be about things that you're doing. You know, a lot of times we are forced to do things that we don't want to do, and necessarily we still make those choices, right? But what we do have a choice over is literally how we are in that situation, how we are with that set of circumstances, and if are we being in that situation? Are we being about that situation that we're in, no matter what, good, bad, or indifferent? If the more we are about the things we're doing, the more we're being in the now time moments amongst those situations and circumstances, the more likely those things will help us pay off in the long run. The second thing was do. A lot of times we get in our heads about doing things that we need to do for ourselves, and we create these narratives and storylines basically from our past that creates the anxiety that keeps us resisting doing the things we need to do for ourselves. And then that's what causes the anxiety. That's what causes us to kind of stop and really kind of fall in to whatever it is we're doing at the time, and not really focusing on what it is we need to do to move forward. And the reason that you want to be first is that you want to be okay with wherever you are, so that with whatever you're doing, you're okay with that too, and be about what you're doing, right? So say you have to do homework for school. Yes, we don't want to have to do homework for school, but we know if we're about that homework, and if we're about these challenges that are being put in place in front of us because of school, we know the end goal to that is we're going to become a better human. And sometimes we need to do the things we don't want to do to eventually get to the point of doing the things we don't want to do. And I think that's kind of what I focused on in my youth, my first 30 years, was I saw everybody trying to figure out what it is they wanted to do, which if we don't really know ourselves, then how do we know what we really want to do? And I kept seeing people going to college and changing their majors all the time, changing jobs all the time, changing hairstyles all the time. We're always changing things about ourselves externally, yet not changing the programs happening inside of us that causes us to choose the same choices and decisions and actions that then bring the same types of stuff back to us. So I looked at everything and said, you know what, I'm going to go backwards with this, and I'm going to figure out what I don't want to do. Because I racked my head around it. I caused myself so much suffering, so much anxiety for so long, and all it was I just wasn't ready to figure out what I wanted to do. Where I was I was in a trial stage. I was trial and error. I wanted to figure out what I didn't want to do. I call it the process of elimination, and I'll make a video about that. But the process of elimination for somebody who goes, head first through challenges and goals, it was able to get me to start backing my way into things and start walking around and seeing all the different angles and flying above, instead of just, why isn't this working? Well, because it doesn't work for me. And that's the key. Is another reason why being human is a framework, and all these concepts is a framework, because your unique experiences with your unique challenges and your unique Akashic records are going to create a unique experience for you So there is no roadmap to your goals, to the life you want. There's only ideas and validation that you're kind of on the right path, but that's why you got to surrender to something bigger than you, because that's your guide. You're your guide. Getting other people to guide you is good. Getting yourself to guide you is great. So you had be, do, and then trust. So now that we got to the point of being and being about what we're doing, now we have to trust that it's exactly where we need to be, doing what we need to do with who we need to be doing it at this very moment. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day, but in this very moment is exactly what we need to be doing, and we're about it. And when we're about the things we're doing in the moment, and we're trusting that it's the right thing to do for us, or the most positive thing to do for us to move forward on our human journey, closer to becoming more human and unlocking more of our spirit, that in itself, that trust is where you can let go. Remember, Being Human framework is awareness, acceptance, care, love, trust. And this trust is so integral in so many avenues, from within, so without. And without that self-trust, without that trust in something bigger than yourself, and without that trust that you're doing everything you can and there's nothing you can be doing more, you won't be able to release. And then, until we learn how to release all of the storylines and narratives and all that, we won't be able to manifest more abundance. We'll be able to maintain the amount of abundance we have, but we won't be able to bring in more abundance because we're not raising our frequency and our vibration and maintaining a high enough resonance. Again, the Holy Trinity. And so the final stage of this equation towards the end of this year for me is we have to believe. So we're doing what we have to do. We're being about what we're doing. We're trusting that we're doing exactly what we need to be doing for ourselves, and that we believe that it will take us where we're supposed to be going. The belief is the key, especially in the moments when we're doing the things we don't want to do to get to the things that we do want to do. That belief is key, because that belief is what creates the resonance, right? That belief, that continuous belief in yourself, that continuous belief in something bigger than yourself. Trust is a constant thing. It's a daily, moment by moment thing. I trust, I surrender, I trust, I surrender, I trust, I surrender, right? But belief, your beliefs don't waver. It's really hard to change somebody's belief systems. That's what we're seeing right now in society. And so belief is so important, because your beliefs is what you become. Again, why I believe whatever your idea of God, whatever your idea of heaven, whatever your idea of all that is, what comes to you in the higher consciousness in those forms, because it relates to your spirit, it relates to your soul, it relates to the human, and it creates a situation that can be well received and not so scary. So again, everything is perspective, because it's all energy. It's all real and not real at the same exact time. And belief is the only reason that's there. And that's honestly what co-creation is. It's just a bunch of gods, little gods running around with their tuning forks, right? And their belief systems co-creating the experience on Earth. And that's why we've had so much chaos over the last 100 to 200 years, 12,000 years, 100,000, 200,000, 12 million years, whatever you want to call it. We've had so much chaos in recent years, because so many people were basing their belief systems in themselves as a human, as a fallible, lackful human, and not their belief systems weren't in that of something bigger than themselves, that which is themselves, because even God was an externalized, materialized, superficial idea of what God was. And if you really believe in what I believe, which is within, as within, so below, or as within, so without, as above, so below, our view of God directly reflects what the earth kind of turns out, how humanity turns out. And we're godless, right? Well, we were up in 2019, woke a lot of people up. 2020 woke a lot of people up. But we were basically becoming godless. And that's why we were seeing the godless rule the world. And where we're at now is everyone's realizing, oh shit, I'm doing this thing, and I'm the god in my own story, my own movie. Because this is a movie, really. I really believe that. Even what's going on in the political round and all that, it's all a movie to wake people up. It's a movie of awakening. And I believe it's coordinated for as above, as below. You know what I mean? I believe it's just beautiful. It's incredible to be a part of. Every day is just amazing. Yet I still find myself in weeks like I did last week, a lot of energy coming into the planet, having to go through human boss battles, having to roar a little bit, having to check people, having to learn, so it's learning how to be again as a new human. I'm a new person this year. I've completely transformed, made it through the dark winter of the soul, but that doesn't mean that I don't have growing pains now. You know what I mean? I just got, almost feel like I just got reborn again. I've just been birthed, and now I got to grow. I got to regrow myself. I mean, in every capacity, in all my bodies, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, all of it needs to be regrown, but it can be regrown healthfully now. And it can be regrown with a good foundation, and everything is at a starting point because I'm being, I am doing, I'm trusting, and I'm believing. And that's not to say that I don't have moments where I lose a little faith, and my faith, I wouldn't say I lose faith, my faith wanes, and I start getting all separated and fearful and angry, and I throw temper tantrums because, again, we were spiritual toddlers, but what my guides came to me this weekend and said was, Adam, you're not a spiritual toddler anymore. If you keep saying that, you're going to be. So stop saying it. And stop talking about all this stuff that you're going to do, and just do it. And talk to people about the stuff you've done, and don't really confide in them in terms of trying to make relatable conversation. Understand that you're a leader now, and that you have to play a role, and that the reason that you need to do, trust, and believe is because every time you go and talk about your issues and problems with people, immediately you're now no longer a shepherd, and now you're just another human, which is fine. But if you're trying to fulfill your purpose and your destiny of shepherding humanity into a healthy way of living and being, then you need to emulate that, which means that these storylines and narratives that you create in your head sometimes about how you're feeling, or about what's going on, or about what's happening in your life, are just that. They're just storylines and narratives. And by using the tools and all the equations and everything that we've brought to you and everything you've learned over the last 31 and a half years of your tumultuous life, you'll be perfectly fine. And then you'll be able to be that leader, and you'll get the respect that you're looking for from people. But if you keep bringing yourself down to a level that you're not at anymore, if you keep bringing yourself down to where you used to be, that's what storylines and narratives are, just this quantum computer believing that you are an old version of yourself. So you're Mac OS Sierra 10.3 when Mac 14 just came out. These operating systems don't work, the programs don't work the best anymore, and then it actually causes your system to slow down and bog up, and it actually causes a lot of problems. And then you've had this amazing piece of technology, you have this amazing computer that does all this great stuff, but because you didn't update your software, you didn't update your programs, it's not actually running at full optimization. And if that's what you're trying to help people do, you need to embody that. And if you embody that, then you don't need to worry about anything, because you're doing your purpose. You're being about doing your purpose. You're trusting that it's exactly what you're supposed to be doing because it's your purpose. And you believe because it's your destiny. And there's nothing left to figure out, because there really isn't anything to figure out anymore. Now it's honestly listening and trusting, right? Stop, breathe, ask, listen, trust. So that we can be, do, trust, believe. Trust, that comes in so many layers. Every step of this, every moment of every day, it's a trust fall into yourself. It's a trust fall into something bigger than yourself, because you can't see it. It's not too sensory. It becomes sensory. It really does become sensory. But in the beginning, you got to have that blind trust, and that's why it's so important that we embody these types of concepts and these equations inside ourselves and see where they sit with us. Because the reason I like using concepts and not do this way or do that way is because these concepts, what mean to me, may not going to mean the same to you. Because where I'm at in my journey, I may be further in some areas, but there's other areas I can learn from you. And I think that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to find people to meet me in the middle and see, hey, I got this human stuff down. I'm pretty novice into spiritual stuff. I'll teach you all about the human. I'll teach you how to heal your trauma. I'll teach you how to gain more respect and how to lead and how to do all those things. And you could teach me all about the spirit and stuff like that. But a lot of times, I think because the people haven't gotten through their egos yet, it becomes this like pedestal thing. And that's again why my buddy Scott Winston told me that I needed to learn to listen to myself more and not so much listen to others, because all they are is just a reflection, and they're just a mirror of where you are on your path in that very moment. And so again, if you can be about what you're doing and do it to your best of your ability, and trust that it's the best of your ability in doing what you're supposed to be doing and being about it, then you can believe that everything will be okay, and that you can trust there's nothing left to figure out. So if you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to hit me up on Gmail, damahwolf@gmail.com. If you want to donate to my work, I'd be very, very grateful. It'd go a long way. I have my Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal links below. Again, I'm on day 49, 48, 49 of Dirt. I just finished the whole thing of Hemisync. The very last session was just absolutely divine. It completely left my body. I know for a fact. I mean, I felt it, but like I was on a whole nother place. I've never felt vibrations inside myself like that. But you know, with that, I hope you gain a little bit more clarity on your path today. I hope you get a little bit further on your journey. I hope you can bring a little bit more love into your heart so that you can be about what you're doing, trust that you're doing the right things, and believe that it's everything you need to do to fulfill your destiny and bring all the abundance into your life that you would like. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. I hope you have an even better evening, and I will see you at the same time tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.